Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a captivating topic today, unraveling the post-dump worries of narcissists. Before we delve in, show some love by hitting the like button, subscribing to our channel, and dropping your thoughts in the comments below. Do our insights resonate with you, or do you hold a divergent perspective? Let's embark on this journey without delay. Picture this, suddenly finding yourself left behind. It's a scenario often orchestrated by narcissists who, feeling neglected or undervalued, concoct a contingency plan. They realize you're not meeting their expectations, failing to shower them with the adoration and respect they crave. Instead, they seek adulation and derive pleasure from belittling you. While the narcissist might still express interest, it fails to satiate their hunger for unwavering affection. But why does this dynamic unfold? Because you're weary of their incessant demands, serving as their primary wellspring of self-indulgence. Endlessly navigating the narcissist's manipulative games, threats, and ceaseless challenges becomes tiresome. It's a burden too heavy to bear, prompting you to disengage from the exhausting dance altogether. So, the main source starts to avoid talking about the manipulative strategies narcissists use, such as gaslighting, lying, and other ways to make their victims feel less important. A lot of the time, these tricks wear down the main source, making them pull back. The narcissist's ego is upset by this change in the situation, which makes them nervous and uneasy. As they think about the effects of their actions, they struggle with the thought of losing a key source of narcissistic feeding. Seeing their main source show dissatisfaction and sadness makes them feel panicked. Being abandoned, rejected, or thrown away is a scary thought that is always there. Most of the time, the narcissist has already planned for these kinds of situations by making a list of possible replacements or quietly making connections on social media. With everything ready, they quickly shift their attention to what they call Supply B. When Supply B is in sight, the narcissist steps up their game by showing what they say is kindness, love, and sexual allure. They successfully trick Supply B into falling for their lies by painting a beautiful picture of the future. They are masters of manipulation and have become better at it over time. As they treat the main source worse and worse, they lose their good-natured front and show a darker side of themselves. By constantly criticizing and finding problems with the main source, they want to show that they are unhappy while also getting close to the backup source. This dishonest behavior helps the ego in two ways. In their twisted minds, it makes sense of what they did and sets the stage for their next move. At the same time, it starts a campaign of lies against the main source, the person who used to love and care for them. This smear campaign carefully crafts a negative picture of the main source in order to make it easier for the narcissist to leave in the future. A big part of this plan is making people angry. The narcissist gets material to hurt their image by getting the main source to say bad things about them. This strategy works especially well because the narcissist has built up a front of friendliness and charm among their friends. This image is strengthened by their participation in religious or community service activities, which makes it easier for people from outside the group to believe the lies about the main source. The narcissist's shift in love to a new partner comes from their desperate need to keep up the facade they've worked so hard to build and avoid facing who they really are. Because they don't want to be vulnerable or have their flaws pointed out, they look for a new partner who can keep up the false image of perfection they've created. Narcissists often go through a cycle with other people where they idealize, devalue, and reject them. They have a strong need to be admired and accepted, which makes it hard for them to form relationships that are good for both of them. This cycle never ends, leaving a path of mental destruction in its wake. As soon as a narcissist stops looking for approval, they move on to the next one, breaking hearts and gets along the way. The main character, on the other hand, has to deal with the harsh truths that come to light after the narcissist leaves. For narcissists, the thought of being alone is not only scary, it goes against how they truly believe they are. Their main goal is to give the impression that they are better in every way, whether it's success, spirituality, or general excellence. When they think about being left alone, they have to face their real selves, which is something they have avoided their whole lives. This true self is everything they hate and feel bad about, and it represents their biggest fear. To escape this dreaded meeting, narcissists put up complicated fronts and use a variety of tricks to hide who they really are. But sometimes, no matter how hard they try, they find themselves alone with their deepest selves. When they are by themselves, they have to face the uncomfortable truth of who they are. The weight of their true selves presses down on them, making them desperately want to run away. They use substances like drugs or booze to temporarily escape the pain of being aware of themselves. Their goal is to dull their minds and blur the sharp edges of reality because they can't stand the thought of being alone without outside distractions or approval. But there are times when narcissists are alone, even though they are trying to avoid being watched. During these alone times, they face the sharp difference between the grandiose front they put on for the world and the harsh truth that lies beneath the surface. This meeting with their true self causes them more than just temporary pain. It throws them into a deep existential crisis. These kinds of encounters make them rethink who they are and what their place is in the world. Realizing that they are alone and have lost the image of being all-powerful and perfect that they presented causes a lot of stress and distress. This case shows how fragile a narcissist's self-esteem is, as it depends so much on approval and validation from other people. They feel incredibly empty and useless when they don't have the support of other people's approval. They are afraid of being alone because it will force them to face the truth about their lives without any of their normal defenses. The narcissist's public persona and private truth are very different from each other, and this shows how desperately they try to avoid thinking about themselves. In a strange way, their manipulative behavior, charm, and constant need for outside approval only make them more vulnerable, which is something they work so hard to hide. In their never-ending effort to separate themselves from their true selves, they get caught up in more lies, which makes it harder to find real relationships and acceptance of themselves. It's often said that relationships, especially ones with narcissists, are a lot like sports teams and the choices their coaches make. They're very complicated. Think about a situation similar to scouting for athletes. The focus shifts to a secondary choice called Supply B, who is praised and given high hopes for the future at first. This stage is like hiring a new player. You have high hopes and are looking forward to the future, but there is a web of lies and manipulation going on below the surface. When you look more closely, it's clear that Supply B isn't even close to the best option, which is called the main source. Even though the narcissist knows this isn't true, they keep pushing Supply B as the better choice because they want to keep up looks. This story makes me think of a made-up city that is having a hard time with their famous quarterback, who will call John Champion to avoid repeat. Think about a situation in which John Champion, the city's favorite quarterback and famous for his winning streak, suddenly loses 4 games in a row. As people's faith in Champion wanes, the city starts to question his abilities, which is a common trait of narcissists. As people call for change, the focus moves to a new player, which gives people hope that things will get better. Instead, this newbie doesn't have the experience or skills that Champion does. Let's call him Alex Anderson because he stumbles to his part like a character from a comedy sitcom who can't even get the basics of the game. The city's hasty response to this change makes people back it at first, but they quickly come to regret it. But pride and the need to look strong keep people from quickly saying they were wrong. Like an ego, the city waits for things to calm down before admitting it was wrong in public. As time goes on, Alex Anderson's flaws become very clear. Each game is full of mistakes, slow reactions, and missed chances, which is very different from what Champion used to do for the team. Before, people in the city were excited about the rookie. Now, they long for Champion's days of success and honor. Behind Champion's back, rumors spread that they might come back, making him more afraid of losing something he used to love. This story is similar to the way things work in selfish relationships, where the person trying to be perfect keeps rejecting and undervaluing their partners. The narcissist can't deal with anything less than an idealized reality, so they are always looking for replacements who can't fill the hole left by the people who left. As an emotional response to a short-lived loss, the narcissist quickly gets rid of Champion, showing that they often make hasty, regrettable choices. Champion, on the other hand, does well elsewhere, like the main source in a narcissistic relationship. He is a moving memory of what was thrown away too soon, showing how stupid the city's choice was. In the world of narcissism, people who want perfect wins with no setbacks get stuck in a cycle of disappointment and longing that forces them to face the results of their actions. Through the view of a longer metaphor, the consistency shown by some sports teams, like the made-up Dallas Cowboys, shows how important it is to keep going even when things get tough. Narcissists, on the other hand, are always looking for something new and perfect, even if it means sacrificing real relationships and long-term success. This story about making snap choices, then feeling bad about them, and the never-ending search for an unattainable ideal has a powerful lesson that can be applied to both sports and personal relationships. It can be like crossing a dangerous minefield full of psychological manipulation and turmoil when you start dating a narcissist. Because they are always looking for approval, narcissists often get stuck in a loop of rejecting and replacing people, leaving broken hearts and low self-esteem in their wake. No matter how hard they try to avoid truth, there will come a time when the facade falls apart, forcing them to face the emptiness at the center of their being. To get out of this destructive cycle, you need to make real relationships based on honesty and emotional closeness. If you found this conversation useful, please join the conversation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. This will help us keep starting serious conversations. With your help, we can build a community where everyone works together to improve and help each other. Thanks for coming along with us on this trip.